Ora viva malta, hoje estamos aqui para jogar Star Trek. Ontem acabámos Life is Strange 2, que tivemos dois finais. Tive que passar o capítulo 5 todo de novo, porque não gostei muito do primeiro final. Mas o jogo simulou até o capítulo 5 e depois a partir do capítulo 5 eu joguei tudo de novo. Portanto o vídeo de ontem foi editado por telemóvel, portanto se estiver um bocadito com baixa qualidade foi por causa disso. Vamos lá começar isto. Já joguei um bocadito, mas já apaguei o save. Mas só joguei mesmo um bocadito no início. O jogo vai estar em espanhol porque não tem em português. As vozes em inglês e as legendas em espanhol. Já joguei um bocadito, mas já não me lembro bem como é que isto funciona. Só me lembro agora a parte do início. Mas vamos ver. Portanto, temos aqui o início do jogo, já começa assim. O jogo é resumidamente, pelo que eu percebi, o jogo é só isto. Tipo, é assim, jogo assim no espaço. Pelo que eu percebi é isto.
Captain's log, stardate 57931.4. The crew is restless. After spending too many months piecing our ship back together, we're finally about to venture out on a new mission. And the crew isn't letting this unprecedented ion storm slow them down. They're ready for something different. I know I am. Perhaps more than any of them. Fortunately, nothing ever stays the same. It's entropy, the nature of the universe. Change is inevitable. And while entropy says order gives way to chaos, in this case, change is good.
Portanto, agora acho que, como me lembro, já vamos ter umas escolhas agora. Esta deve ser a personagem principal, pelo que eu percebi. É que nós vamos jogar. Portanto, o jogo já começa assim com umas escolhas um bocadito rápidas. Esta aqui não foi tanto, mas vai dificultando.
I'm not great with flying.
Pronto, o jogo tem assim escolhas que temos que fazer. Pronto, eu vou pôr trial, só porque sim. Mas o jogo é resumidamente assim, só escolhas. Tem algumas missões, mas é praticamente só escolhas. E também isso aí muda a nossa amizade com ele ou não.
Sorry, I'm a little anxious.
I hadn't noticed.
I'm on my way to my first assignment. When we get to the starbase, I'm transferring on to the Resolute.
So am I.
It won't be easy for Jara to step in at the 11th hour like this. But if she's half the officer I knew she could become when she was a cadet at Starfleet Academy, she'll be the XO this ship needs right now.
Portanto, está aqui Star Trek Resurgence. E vamos lá ver. Portanto, isto aqui só agora é que vai começar realmente o jogo. Até agora foi a intro. Mas já com a intro já temos aquelas duas escolhas. Pouco que eu joguei, o jogo é espetacular. Agora não sei como é que fica depois. Sei que a parte que eu joguei estava a gostar. Portanto, agora já temos que andar. Usámos o L para mover, como praticamente todos os jogos são, né? E aqui para examinar, acho que é o R2 exatamente.
Long way from home now.
Commander? I'm not usually such a nervous wreck, by the way. I actually did well at the academy.
Oh yeah?
Maybe you've heard of the Torvalin test?
Sounds familiar.
It's a tactical simulator that makes the Kobayashi Maru look like a picnic on Pintaris 5. Anyway, I finished in the top 20. Not just in my class. I mean, all time. In the history of the academy.
Vamos incentivar
Really?
bocadito.
That's quite impressive.
Thank you. It was tough. But you know, I set my mind to it and it paid off.
Portanto, agora acho que vão descobrir a nossa identidade. Portanto, o que estava connosco até agora. Vai descobrir quem é que realmente nós somos. Jara Rydek.
Welcome, Commander Rydek.
Wait, you're Jara Rydek? You absolutely crushed the Torvalin test. You finished in what, like the top 3?
That would be me.
Now I'm really... It's an honor to meet you, Commander. Sorry, I didn't realize before.
The pleasure's mine. Ensign...
Paul Calloway.
Good to meet you.
I believe Commander Ermot is expecting you. He's in the concourse just ahead.
See you on the Resolute.
Vamos lá. Temos que andar outra vez. Temos que encontrar o comandante.
Good day, Commander.
Ele respondeu. Portanto, agora vamos ver onde é que ele está.
If I remember my briefing, Commander Ermot is a Bolian, so I'm looking for someone with blue skin. Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm just... Well, I'm not sure where my departure dock is. The Resolute's gonna leave without me.
Look here. The Resolute is leaving from this dock.
Oh, you're right. Nerves must be getting to me. Thanks so much, Commander.
Tchauzinho. Pronto, e agora? Temos que ver tudo.
Starbase 128 has 4 docks. I'll replicate myself a meal once I'm on board.
É melhor.
Excuse me.
E aqui está ele, nosso amigo, comandante. Tem uma aparência bonita, como nós podemos ver todos.
Galaxy, Commander Rydek. I'm Commander Jan Ermot, Operations Officer on the Resolute. Commander?
Vamos lá, vamos lá.
I hope there wasn't too much trouble getting here.
Eu não joguei muito mais
This
depois
storm
disso,
isn't making anything easy for us right now.
tanto que eu já nem me lembro desta parte.
No trouble at all.
I'm glad to hear it.
Eu vou tentar não falar muito por cima
We're
das
grateful you
personagens
were able
para
to come fill
estragar
our
o
first officer
jogo.
vacancy at such short notice. From everything I've read and everything I've heard, we're lucky you were available to us. Coming from a premier starship and all. To our little research vessel.
I'll do my best to live up to expectations.
Oh, I'm sure you'll do just fine. And if I can help in any way, just let me know.
Eu não sei se aí no YouTube se está a diminuir
The USS Resolute.
está a diminuir
She may not look like much compared to the
a
bigger
capacidade
ships, but as far as
que o vídeo
science
está.
vessels go, she can more than hold
Mas o
her
vídeo
off.
está com uma grande qualidade, pelo
And
menos
she
enquanto
doesn't
eu estou a
look so
jogar.
bad,
No
considering
YouTube eu
6
não
months
sei.
ago she was nearly cracked in half, venting plasma, fighting for her life.
It was an accident?
The equipment malfunction. An accident suggests fault, but no one's to blame. It was a planned test, but the warp core was pushed beyond its limits. It destabilized the dilithium, there was a runaway reaction, and the warp bubble deformed. We thought we could reach a higher resonant frequency, but it was more than she could handle. Cost us our first officer and 22 of our crew. At the end of the day, we're all responsible for each other.
Vamos lamentar a
I
perda.
can't even begin to imagine what that must have been like for you. I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you. It does weigh heavy. There are some things you can't forget.
Did you lose anyone close to you?
Vamos perguntar se ele perdeu alguém
Too many.
perto. Alguém de perto.
And to that, I'll just say, you have big shoes to fill. Listen, I realize you've known Captain Solano for quite some time. And I'm glad you're ready to bring your best. But I should warn you that when the captain announced you would be the new first officer, there were those who felt it was a mistake, that he should have promoted from within. So you might want to tread lightly first. Until they come to value your contributions as much as he does.
Thank you. Always good to have a sense for what you're walking into.
I just thought you ought to know.
I appreciate it.
Starfleet has assigned us a high-priority mission to the Hotari region. I'll let the captain brief you on board. I know he's eager to see you.
Will we be mission ready in time?
We have every intention. The crew has been working around the clock to get the ship ready. There's still so much to do.
Malta, eu peço desculpa se a qualidade não está como deveria estar, mas é que o PlayStation 4 não deixa gravar mais que 720 e também deixa gravar mais que 1 hora, portanto é um bocado difícil. Outra personagem que vamos jogar é esta. Eu não sei se depois tem mais, mas sei que tem estas duas.
Stuck. I got just the thing.
Deve ser isto, não? Exatamente. Portanto, agora acho que é só passar assim. Já não me lembro mesmo nada como se faz isto. É só ir para o meio. Temos que ir para baixo outra vez, carregar sempre no R2. O RS é o R3. Ou analógico direito. Ah, está. E agora R2 outra vez. E agora o R3 assim. Está limpinho. Ando para outro. Mas agora somos nós a pôr outra vez.
That is that.
Está feito. A partir daqui eu não joguei mais, ok, malta?
I thought that thing was totally fried. Nice work, Carter.
Nothing to it, Neely.
And not a moment too soon. The boss wants us down in engineering. Like, now.
Isto o quê? Então.
Come on!
Oh. Oh, these are heavier than they look. Makes more sense than zero G. You're welcome.
Vamos lá, vamos lá. Temos uma boa ação já.
Carter Diaz.
Estou aqui, é para onde? Opa. Olha ele. É o que estávamos no início do jogo, está aqui.
Engineer.
I heard the new XO just arrived. Won't be long before we get underway. I just hope whatever Chovok called us down for, it's something good. I can never tell with him. I'd rather not end up degousing plasma manifolds.
You and me working together, we can tackle anything he throws at us.
Your optimism is positively contagious. Looks like we got here before.
Lieutenant Commander Chovok.
Portanto, este é o comandante
We were
do
just
Carter,
looking for you,
Daniel.
Commander.
Petty Officers Ed Solar, Diaz. I was beginning to think you would be late. We are all hands on deck right now, which means if you are not at your post at the appointed time, I do not have someone to replace you. A point I have been forced to make to Petty Officer Ed Solar on repeated occasions.
So you're saying we're irreplaceable, Commander?
That is one interpretation. Another would be that I would replace you if I could. You can interpret as you see fit.
So, I don't suppose you wanted us down here to check in before we go off duty?
Equip yourselves in EV suits to work on the exterior of the hull. I need you to tune the structural integrity field for optimal performance. The subspace distortions and ionic interference we are experiencing are preventing the proper calibration. But this ship must be ready to depart shortly, despite the storm. The precise nature of these disturbances are not fully understood. But many systems have been affected by the wide band of emissive activity.
Whatever it throws at us, we'll be ready. We've got the best chief engineer in the fleet.
I am a Vulcan, Mr. Diaz. Flattery is not necessary. All that I require is that you do your job. Right now, that entails critical preparations, because long-range sensors show that these disturbances will be more severe at our destination, the Hotari system. You have your orders. Do not delay.
Yes,
Roger
Commander
that.
Chovok. All hands on deck.
Oh, what's that?
All hands on deck. That's what Chovok said. You know what that means? It means this ship isn't ready to go out and the brass know it. So they're throwing every warm body at it. And they're going to leave on schedule.
It all comes down to us, Nelly. We're
É
the ones
Nelly,
who
peço
get it
desculpa, eu
ready.
disse Nelly, mas é Nelly,
I
claro,
know what we
claro
can
que é.
do. But this isn't just any old refit
Está aquele
or any
outro
old
outra vez.
relaunch.
Oh, whoa.
E o moço vai com calma.
Excuse me.
A lot of new faces coming on board. It's gotta be tough coming as a replacement. That's for sure.
They seem all right. Something that happened 6 months ago while they were off on another ship? Well, that's nothing to hold against them.
Yeah, you're right. I guess getting a little new blood on board doesn't hurt. Hold on. Now there's an old face I didn't expect to see again. Hey, Miranda!
You weren't gonna leave without me, were you?
Miranda, you're here?
Já temos
thought
outra
you were staying on
personagem.
the
Não sei se
Adirondack.
vamos chegar a
Transfer
jogar
came
com
in at the
ela,
last minute, so
Ah.
I figured I'd slum it on this bucket of bolts.
mas acredito que seja
Looks like
amigo
you got her
deles.
back together pretty nicely. I wasn't sure what to expect.
I'm gonna take the high road here, pretend you didn't say that, and welcome you aboard.
He's a better diplomat than I am.
He still owes me a bottle of Saurian brandy. Don't think I forgot.
Oh yeah, it's coming back to me now.
Maybe Carter can rustle up that bottle and we can give you a proper welcome. As soon as we wrap up this quick little spacewalk.
Portanto agora já estamos a pegar no capacete.
Here, let me help you.
Thanks.
So what's the word? Are you back in the
Vamos lá.
security rotation?
Yep.
E agora vai começar a nossa
Still running
aventura,
with the
acredito.
usual suspects.
Whoa.
Good to go.
Sei porquê, mas acho que o Carter já deve ter tido algumas relações
See
com a
you on the other
Miranda.
side.
Ou vai ter no futuro.
Activating magnetic souls. That view never gets old.
Let's go.
Agora acredito que vamos jogar com a primeira personagem. Exatamente.
Captain Solano should be here momentarily.
Pronto, e agora devemos explorar esta nave. Vamos a esta parte da nave.
You'll have to forgive me, I don't know much about Kobleods. But my understanding is you need a steady supply of duridium to keep your cell structure stabilized, or bad things start to happen. And we have plenty of duridium in sickbay, so there's no risk of running out.
Thank you.
Feel free to make yourself at home. And help yourself to whatever you like from the replicator.
Pois, é como era de esperar, acho que vamos investigar esta sala. Não deve ter muita coisa, porque a sala parece pequenina. Mas pode ter algumas coisas importantes.
The first mineral Captain Solano ever discovered. Always was the nostalgic type. He's still got a thing for trains. The warp engines of their day, apparently. We'll be out there soon. Going where no one has gone before.
Já vimos isto. Aqui acho que não tem nada. Tem. Diploma. Pois, agora
I
travou
can't believe he
bocadinho, peço
keeps this
desculpa.
around. Don't even know where mine is.
Pronto, e acho que não tem mais nada para explorar. Acho que é mesmo só isto. Pois não tem mais nada, tem ali.
Just a sip of something. Decisions, decisions.
Vamos para o café, é o mais...
Coffee.
Pronto.
Perfect temperature. Don't know how they do it.
Jara Rydek.
Portanto, não chegámos a ver o globo, mas
Last time I
pronto.
saw you, it was graduation from the academy. You'd already secured one of the most prestigious assignments possible. And you were burning with enough ambition to fuel 7 trips around the Necrit Expanse.
It's good to see you again, Captain.
I could not be happier to have you on the Resolute. The only regret is that we couldn't provide you with a warmer welcome. The arrival of a first officer to her new ship deserves a bit of fanfare.
That would be totally unnecessary. I don't need any pomp and circumstance.
You've been here all of 5 minutes, and already you're trying to make us more efficient. I like it. As I'm sure you've heard, we've had a rough go of it these last 6 months. The ship suffered some damage, but not nearly as much as the crew.
I assume you mean the accident.
That's right. The tragic accident, really. We were on the verge of a major scientific breakthrough. A quantum leap forward in warp core technology. 10,000 teradynes per second. The ability to travel at a sustained rate of speed longer and faster than we ever dreamed. What would have been the crowning achievement of my career. Right there, within our grasp. Until it all went so horribly wrong. We pushed her too hard, and a warp core malfunction overloaded the system, creating a pressure gradient way beyond what the ship can handle. It was heartbreaking. We lost some of our best people. As captain, I have to take full responsibility. It was my decision to make, and I have to live with the consequences.
You're being too hard on yourself. It wasn't your fault.
It's not a question of blame. It's about responsibility. No matter what the circumstances. In my defense, I will say, I might have avoided the whole ordeal if my senior staff had been willing to trust me. There was a lot of pushback from my former XO, and I think that cost me his confidence. I don't want you to pull any punches. Certainly not on my account. But once we decide on a course of action, I need everyone to fully commit to the mission. Anything short of that just won't work. And that's when things start to go sideways.
Whether I agree or disagree, I can promise that I'll be honest to a fault.
Good. That's exactly what I'm looking for. But at the end of the day, it has to be my call. Look, I'll be blunt. We can't afford another mistake. Or at least, I can't. I feel like my career is hanging in the balance here. We need a win. Something to restore the crew's confidence.
I understand.
On a more positive note, Starfleet has tasked us with what they're calling a mission of the highest priority. Escorting a senior diplomat to Hotari space. Two previously peaceful and otherwise non-aggressive civilizations now find themselves on the brink of all-out war.
So it's a peacekeeping mission.
I see it as a golden opportunity to not only prove what the Resolute and her crew are truly capable of, but also a mission for which we're uniquely qualified. This ionic storm. Our long-range sensors suggest it's several orders of magnitude stronger than anything on record. A total anomaly like nothing we've seen before. And you'll never guess where it leads.
Hotari.
Exactly. Very nearly in the precise location where we're headed. Where I imagine the interference will be exponentially greater. But the diplomat will brief us on the details at the rendezvous.
But are we prepared to embark on the mission?
As much as I'd like to think that's true, I have my doubts. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. I expect we'll have some rough sledding when we arrive, so I need you to prepare the crew for the worst. There's just one more thing I want to clarify up front. The metric that for me will be the ultimate measure of your success.
What is it?
If after serving as my first officer, you don't one day find yourself with a ship of your own, then I will consider it my personal failure. When that might happen is entirely up to you. But it goes without saying, you have my full support.
Thank you. But I feel like I still have so much to learn.
You'll have plenty of opportunity. And if you're willing to put in the work, I'll do everything in my power to help you along the way. Come, let me introduce you to the crew. Everyone, if I could have your attention for a moment. I'd like to introduce Commander Jara Rydek, our new first officer. Some quick introductions. This is Lieutenant Handar, our helmsman, one of the best in the business.
One of?
Well, what he lacks in humility, he more than makes up for in ability.
A pleasure to meet you, Commander.
Likewise.
Next, we have Commander Westbrook, our Chief Science Officer. I've come to rely on his expert counsel on a regular basis.
Pleasure.
Commander Rydek, it is such an honor to meet you.
This is our tactical officer, Lieutenant Bedrosian, who's been looking forward to meeting you for about as long as I can remember.
I've been following your career for quite some time. And I look forward to learning as much as I can from you.
That's very kind of you to say. I'm happy to be here.
Well, I have to admit, one of the reasons I've followed your career is because you're part Kobliad, because of what you've overcome. Starfleet stands up for people who can't defend themselves, and you were one of those people once. But since then, you've done so much to protect others who need it. I really admire that. So, you've been something of an inspiration to me. Not that I've done anything close to what you've done, but you definitely set a standard to strive for.
You really do know a thing or two about me. I'm glad I could inspire you, but it's important to chart your own path.
Thanks. You can count on it.
And then, of course, you've already met Commander Ermont. Please, do everything you can to make Commander Rydek feel at home here. I'll be on the starbase. I have an urgent meeting with the starbase commander to get our authorization to get underway. If they drag their feet any longer, we won't make our rendezvous. The bridge is yours.
Ok, temos que nos sentar quando estivermos pronto. Eu acho que já estamos. Tomar o mando. Ou tomar o controlo. Vamos lá, pode ser.
Commander, Chief Engineer Chovak needs to lower the structural integrity field. He's sent a crew out to recalibrate the emitters in response to the danger posed by the storm. We just need your go-ahead.
Claro.
Mission granted.
Lowering structural integrity field, now.
Entering maintenance mode. Condition blue.
The storm is getting worse.
E agora voltamos para o carta
Great.
e para nele.
That emitter. Every time we're out here, I half expect to see her in pieces again.
She's still got some scars on her. It adds character.
When I joined Starfleet, all I wanted was a ride out of town. But this isn't exactly how I pictured it.
On the outside of the ship?
No. Sometimes it feels like we're just part of the machinery. Don't you want more than that? I mean, Starfleet is noble and all, but it's still a machine.
Yeah, of course I do. Starfleet's an open door.
Just toda a gente quer uma
You just
oportunidade
have to
melhor.
walk through it. You wanted to get away. I enlisted because I didn't want to wait years just to get out and see the galaxy. I wanted to go somewhere, see new worlds, look up at a sky no one's ever seen before. Just because I'm cranking a hyperspanner up in a Jeffries tube today doesn't mean that's all I'll ever be. Diaz to Commander Chovak. We are at the Sif emitter.
Acknowledged. You may proceed with the recalibration.
Ok, vamos abrir isto. E agora temos que pegar nisto. Ok.
Beginning recalibration.
Careful. Too much action and harmonics will deflect the alignment.
Está bocado difícil isto. Ok.
Light touch, Carter.
Acho que está. Ok. Não tinha percebido bem o que é que era para fazer, mas percebi. Agora isto era uma bomba. Não, mas não. Está tranquilo. E voltamos para
Commander Westbrook,
a
right?
comandante.
Chief Science Officer.
You remembered my name and my rank. Impressive. Yes, I am the Chief Science Officer, and I have the dubious honor of being the most senior officer on this bridge. At least, I know this ship inside and out. Better than just about anyone.
Vamos incentivar.
What a
Mais
very impressive list of
custa nada.
credentials.
This is a research and discovery ship, first and foremost. Now with a former tactical officer as its new first officer. I'm curious, though. A Kobliad, or half in your case, is an odd choice for first officer, given your vulnerable condition and all. But if, as an example, we found ourselves in a hostile situation, and you were suddenly incapacitated because you needed an infusion, what would happen then? You'd leave Captain Solano without an XO. Granted, that would be a worst-case scenario, but not outside the realm of possibility.
That's very kind of you to be concerned about my well-being. But you don't need to trouble yourself on my account. I'll be fine.
Well, I wouldn't say I was concerned, just curious, that's all. Listen, can I be blunt, Commander?
I see no reason to stop now.
Commander Sutherland, your predecessor, was one of the best first officers in all of Starfleet. His record was impeccable and his reputation was without equal. I mean no disrespect, but the shoes you're stepping into are almost impossible to fill. He was loved by the crew. And he was one of my closest friends. So I can only hope that you'll live up to expectations.
Mr. Westbrook, if you have some kind of problem with me, and you just met me so it has nothing to do with me,
As
you're
todas as
gonna have
opções
to
eram
figure
mais.
out how to get over it. Because I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere. Do you read me?
Loud and clear. I'll stick to science. That is what this ship is for.
Very well.
Seeing as Captain Solano is on the starbase, let me give you an update on this ion storm we're flying into. It's unusual, unlike anything I've ever seen. At the moment, I can't tell you if the Resolute will shrug it off or if we're putting ourselves at risk. However, if we learn more about its patterns, its nature, we can come up with a scientific countermeasure. Just a moment.
We've got a massive energy wave inbound.
On screen.
Tracing its trajectory.
Starbase docking clamps are holding.
The storm's emissions are fluctuating, coming in waves. And if my projections are right, we're about to get hit by a wide-band burst of ionic energy.
Isso é que
Like
não
a
é nada
tsunami.
bom. Não é nada
I'm
bom.
reading power abnormalities all over the
Alerta
ship.
vermelho.
Red alert.
Aye. Evacuating main gangway and retracting.
Putting sensor visualization on screen.
With the structural integrity field shut down, we can't take a direct hit.
Time to impact. 1 minute.
Shield systems are severely impacted. We have limited protection.
I need every available solution. What are our options?
We can weaken the impact of the storm with a deflector pulse.
There's a better way.
I'm sending all auxiliary power to the deflector dish.
Send the aux power to the shields. We can't reactivate the entire shield bubble, but it's a directional threat.
Oh,
so we can
opção.
orient all we have towards the wave. You have to believe me.
We only get one shot at this. We can't afford to get it wrong.
That's right, which is why we need to send power
Acho que eu
to
posso
our
escudos
shields.
também.
Petrosian, get those shields up.
Rerouting power to shields. Stand by. I need a heading. We've only got one shot.
Understood. On my command.
Bora.
Heading locked.
Raise shields.
Eu acho que é melhor.
This is it!
All hands, brace for impact.
What happened?
We have experienced a surge of radiation.
Oh, you don't say.
This radiation supercharged the plasma, forcing it to backflush through the system and creating a dangerous imbalance.
Blow out every primary system on the ship.
Just tell us where you need us.
I need you to traverse the hull to the access port to recalibrate the port nacelle plasma regulator.
Ok.
We've reached the first access point.
Understood. Do you see the override for the level 1 failsafe circuits?
Affirmative.
Ui.
Engage the override. It should allow us to
Okay.
stop the EPS flow to the warp engine
Relação de
without triggering an
EPS.
automatic core shutdown.
E agora? Primeiro ou segundo? Ah, para o primeiro, não é? Temos que ativar os dois e temos. Acho que ativar-se por ordem.
Failsafe override engaged.
Are you sure? I am registering some crosstalk in the bypass circuit.
We need to route the signals so they don't interfere with each other.
Talvez aqui. E por aqui. E agora este ali. Exatamente. Não sei se é isto. Perigo.
Ideas to Resolute. The failsafes are temporarily disabled. Moving on to the EPS regulator.
Heads up, Carter.
What is that?
One of the discharges coalesced.
It's coming right toward us. I'm gonna try to disrupt it with my phaser.
Acho que está. Está a ver se também era para o chão.
Not that there's really an up, but you know.
Ui, já está a ficar mais difícil. Só temos 5 minutos para fazer isto. Agora foi sorte. Falta 15 metros, vamos lá. Ei! Não vi.
Are you alright?
Acontece. Bora. Acontece.
Can't damage the suit. Energy dampening is down to 60%.
Isso fica a ver de costas. Fica bem diferente. Lá está.
We're at the regulator. Opening the access panel.
I am now halting the EPS flow to the port nacelle. We have little time before it causes an overload in the engine. You must work efficiently.
Ok. Agora deve ser escolhas rápidas.
EPS manifold adjusters reset to neutral.
Ui. Faço a mínima ideia do que é para fazer. Será que é isso? Assim?
The EPS lines to the port warp engine
certo.
back in balance.
Foi a sorte.
It's done. Once I cycle the manifold nozzles, Chovak can...
Isto é que não é nada bom.
Get down! Diaz to bridge. We just lost the docking clamp. We've got a lot of debris coming down. All vibrations, too. We can't finish the EPS regulation in these conditions. Please advise.
We have to release the ship from that other docking clamp or the hull will be ripped apart.
There's a problem. The clamps are supposed to disengage automatically in an emergency, but it's not working.
Not working.
What are our options?
The docking clamps are fitted with exploding bolts for an emergency release.
We've got crew out there. That'd be like setting off a bomb next to them.
Maybe there's another way.
Starbase is hailing us.
Put him through.
Resolute, the remaining mooring arm is failing. You need to disengage from the starbase now. The damage to the station will be catastrophic.
The docking clamp isn't functioning. We're exploring our options.
The option is to detonate the emergency release.
Commander, hear me out. Reverse the polarity of the hull, which theoretically will repel the docking clamps.
And repel the engineering crew right off the hull into the storm.
This is Captain Solano. Put me on screen.
Go ahead. Captain, we have a situation.
Commander, what are you doing? Blow the bolts on the docking clamp.
The captain doesn't know the whole story.
I'm giving you an order. Jara?
Yes, sir. Disengaging the clamps.
Vamos cá obedecer.
Hammered with debris out there.
The captain made himself quite clear.
Reverse
Vamos
the
cá
polarity.
obedecer.
There is protocol.
And there are lives.
What is the holdup?
Bora.
Starbase, stand. We're gonna flip hull polarity to disengage the
Não
clamps.
sei se era isto
Yes, Commander.
ou era o outro.
What? You just said you disengage the clamps.
Captain, I have to do this.
Acho que me enganei.
This is acting Captain Jara Rydek. Be advised, we are going to reverse hull polarity to free us from the remaining docking clamp. Tether yourself and deactivate your boots on my mark.
Acho que é a primeira vez que a Carter está a falar com o Carter está a falar com a Jara.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark!
Mesmo a tempo. Foi mesmo a tempo.
Grab my hand. I got you.
Thank you.
balance is reaching critical condition. We are moments from primary system failure.
I got it.
Conseguimos. É isto, malta. O vídeo vai ficar por aqui. Não se esqueçam, temos vídeo deste jogo todos os dias às 19h30. E vemo-nos amanhã.